As an American on his independent manga journey, I love to see another American mangaka win. I believe all victories in this industry or space will help other people have an easier time breaking through. I study the craft of writing stories, especially shonen battle manga, so in this video, I will apply that knowledge to Monsters We Make by Cory Kenshin. An important fundamental in writing a plot is obstacles. All plots need obstacles. In the first chapter, the protagonist Jabari has no obstacles. He doesn't solve anything. In chapter 2, once again, Jabari has no obstacles to overcome. We just get character interactions. JB has an emotional flashback, but it's not well used, and you'll see why. In chapter 3, Jabari finally has his first obstacle, the aptitude test, and he passes easily. You don't want your heroes to breeze past their obstacles. The struggle is what makes the victory sweeter. The simple formula for writing an obstacle is to start with the hero failing, then have a moment that ignites a change, then have the hero succeed, creating a power dynamic reversal. Now watch this little rewrite. When Jabari takes the aptitude test, he's initially failing, but then he has the sad flashback of his dad, and it gives him extra determination. This allows him to turn it around, and he barely passes. I made the obstacle challenging, I made the flashback enhance another scene, rather than be in a bubble, and then I added a power dynamic reversal. How did I do this? Studying battle manga. MHA is a perfect comparison. At the end of chapter 1, Bakugo is attacked by a villain, and Deku tries to save him. Obstacle. Deku gives an emotional speech, which is a substitute for a flashback enhancer. The situation is dire, but All Might is inspired by Deku's actions, and creates a power dynamic reversal, saving the day. How about another example? In chapter 3, Deku is failing the exam as his obstacle. It gets worse when Ochaku is in danger. All Might's narration ignites the reversal as Deku goes to punch the robot. The day is saved. Let's do one more. In chapter 6, Deku's obstacle is the quirk test that could result in expulsion, which he's initially failing. The stakes increase when Eraserhead adds extra rules to his ball throw. It looks like all hope is lost, but Deku digs deep and creates a reversal by using his power cleverly to pass. The first few chapters of Monsters We Make compare well to MHA 2. Both have a character joining a school and taking a test. In chapter 1, the obstacle was the villain. In chapter 2, the obstacle was training. In chapter 3, the obstacle was the entrance exam. In chapters 5 and 6, it was the quirk apprehension test. To recap, Monsters We Make chapters 1 and 2 have no obstacles, and 3's is too easy. Next is the underdog writing issue. So, Jabari is this music prodigy, but he's being recruited to a fighting squad. It seems like the musician idea was added to put Jabari at a disadvantage, which would have been clever, but instead, he's super athletic and nearly broke the school record. I'm not saying it's impossible for someone to be both musically and physically gifted, but I feel like there was a missed opportunity to write a clever underdog here. The best comparison is Walter White from Breaking Bad. Just like Jabari was moving from musician to fighter, Walt moved from chem teacher to drug dealer. Walt had no experience as a drug dealer, however, his unique chemistry background allowed him to open doors that others couldn't, thus making up for his weakness. I think this story could have easily done that. Jabari may be at a physical and knowledge disadvantage, but his music expertise allows him to create solutions that no one else can think of. Maybe he could imagine the monster's movements as sheet music and predict them like Tengen from Demon Slayer. Something that gives him a unique way to solve problems rather than just being good. Other examples are Naruto and Po from Kung Fu Panda. Naruto's shadow clones allowed him to train faster, making up for his lack of natural talent. Po's love for food allowed him to be trained in a way that could quickly raise his progress. I like the way Jabari was threatened into fighting monsters in chapter 5. Overall, that was good. And then we get the first fight, which was solid. The heroes initially struggle until Jabari initiates a reversal by showing up late like Goku. Then he starts struggling, but then he makes another reversal and wins for now. The flashback quote of his father right before the reversal is good writing. It reminds me of Spider-Verse in particular. It's basically the same thing I suggested in the aptitude test. This is the first chapter that is basically flawless from a broad view. This is what battle manga feels like. The underdog idea I mentioned becomes relevant again. Him being a musician is basically irrelevant in the fight, and he just has strong powers that he's able to use well in his first fight. I think my suggestion would have been smarter and more rewarding. I like how Jabari got humbled in chapter 6 to show that he still has room to grow, but my question is if Allison, who had the fitness record, couldn't beat the leaker on her own, but Jabari almost did, how is she beating Jabari now? I love conflict between teammates though. I also like how they talked it out. In chapter 7, I like how the exposition for the suits and powers is given after they were used, rather than before. Allison has some good character development reminiscent of Luck from Black Clover. Once again, reversals are used to make the fight interesting. So my review is that the first half was rough, but the second half was solid. However, this doesn't take into account the quality of the dialogue or the sheer amount of dialogue. It's just from a broad point of view. For aspiring writers, these are the key takeaways. There should always be obstacles present that your character is trying to overcome. The obstacles shouldn't be solved easily. The most entertaining way to write confrontations with an obstacle is with at least one power dynamic reversal, where the situation goes from bad to good. The reversals can be sparked and enhanced by flashbacks, narrations, and digging deep in general. If you want to go deeper into writing a good first chapter for a battle manga, watch my video, How to Make the Perfect First Chapter. That formula bakes in so many good writing techniques, including the ones I just mentioned, creating a great introduction. Monsters We Make doesn't do all of that, and it's not necessary, but it's nice to know. Subscribe for more academic writing content to improve your writing or analysis.